Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints-Browns, game 2 of the Darren Rizzi era. Some good news for the Whodats. Eric McCoy will be back. Really, a lot of respect for Eric McCoy amid a lost season. I mean, this is the definition of being a pro, right? Amid a lost season, the guy has a groin injury, and his targeted date to get back had been after the bye with the Rams coming in, and he worked so hard to accelerate that timeline to be back this week against Cleveland. It would have been very easy to say, hey, take it slow, give yourself 2 more weeks because you'll have your bye, and then come back ready to roll for the home stretch after the Rams game. But here he is, back for this game against the Cleveland Browns. This is a really tough spot because you've got 2 teams that are not very good. The Browns are 2-7. The Saints are 3-7. The Browns were just miserable under Deshaun Watson. He suffered that unfortunate Achilles injury. Now Jameis Winston is starting. You well know that. The Saints have had their barrage of injuries, but they're starting to get healthy again. But in some respects, the Saints still are kind of what they are. They're an aging veteran defense. Even with the Saints winning last week against Atlanta, it's hard to ignore the fact that you still were outgained by 100 yards. They doubled up your rushing total. You've not been very good against the run, and now Nick Chubb is coming back healthier for the Cleveland Browns. If there's one thing that I would tell you that maybe leans toward the New Orleans Saints in this game, aside from the Saints being at home and just some good vibes and good energy with Darren Rizzi being there in that interim role, you look at the turnover differential. The Cleveland Browns on the season are -7. The Saints are +4. It's one of the things the Saints have done well is they take the ball away. That's kind of been a key part of this team ever since Dennis Allen's been there. They've been very good at taking the ball away. I do think it's going to be very interesting this week to watch rookie left tackle Taliesin Fuanga, because this will be by far the biggest test of his rookie season. Fuanga is going to go head-to-head with Myles Garrett, former NFL Defensive Player of the Year. So, I mean, you have this guy that's the reigning Defensive Player of the Year going against your rookie left tackle who's 22 years old, and a quarterback in Derek Carr that has happy feet and doesn't necessarily like to be hit. I'm not saying Derek Carr is not tough, but one thing that is pretty consistent with Carr, and you've heard players and executives talk about this both on and off the record, is he'll get happy feet. He'll throw off his back foot. Sean Salisbury's talked about it a good bit. And if you start to get pressure from that Cleveland defensive front, they traded Zadarius Smith, but still Myles Garrett over there is a problem, and we'll see how Fuanga matches up. So, look, I love the fact that the Saints, as far as the turnover margin, have an edge here. Jameis Winston, we know, has a propensity to turn the football over. While, yes, the Saints know Jameis well. Remember, Joe Woods came from Cleveland as well, so Kevin Stefanski has certainly a lot of awareness of Joe Woods from their time together. I just also look at this as Cleveland coming off their bye, having an extra week to get healthy, an extra week to prepare, while New Orleans is getting healthier. The Saints may be in a better spot to maybe steal one in a week from Sunday or 2 weeks from Sunday when they're coming off their bye and the Rams coming in, even though I think the Rams are a better football team. I'm setting you up for a letdown here because I think, unfortunately, the interim bump you got last week, I think some of that emotion starts to settle the further into it you get, and reality of what you are as a team takes over. And what you are as a team is a team that has struggled this year for most of the year to run the football. You have a quarterback that is still a very average quarterback in the NFL. You're without your top 2 receivers, in all respect to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Great debut a week ago, but you're still down your top 2 weapons on the outside. Defensively, you've struggled to stop the run all season. You're the worst overall defense, total defense in the entire NFL. You're without the top 2 cornerbacks you thought were going to be your top 2 cornerbacks coming into the season. You've traded Lattimore, and we know what Debo's done for the year. Kool-Aid McKinstry's questionable, but likely to play, but he's still coming off an injury. And then Alontae Taylor is at his more natural position at a boundary corner, but we'll see how that goes. And even though Cleveland doesn't have Amari Cooper, who they traded, you still got to deal with David Njoku. You still have to deal with Jerry Jeudy. There are players on the offensive side of the ball for Cleveland that can make plays. I just look at this matchup, and the turnover margin is the thing I think that could tilt it for the Saints because they're +4, Cleveland's -7 for the season, and we know Jameis can be turnover prone. But I probably will take Cleveland to win this game in New Orleans coming off their bye. I don't think you're going to see a super high-scoring game because I don't think either one of these offenses are great, but I think both defenses are susceptible to giving up big plays, and I think Cleveland's ability maybe to run the football a little bit better than New Orleans. I'd probably take the Browns here. I'm curious how Saints fans would react to that if it does go that way, if the Saints do drop a game here. You'd love to have a win going into the bye with some good vibes after back-to-back wins. But the other part of it, too, is this is a lost season, and the Saints aren't going to put together some incredible streak and make a run to the playoffs. So really what I want to see is I want to see the young players get better. How does Alontae Taylor look on the boundary? How does Talia Seifuanga hold up against Myles Garrett? Those are the types of things that I want to see for the remainder of this season, more so than just what happens in the win-loss column. If the Saints get a win on Sunday, awesome. I'm always going to cheer for my team. I want them to win the game. I just think facing this Cleveland team that's finding it post Deshaun Watson is in a better spot, getting a little healthier and coming off their bye, while the Saints are still what they are. And what they are is not that Cleveland's great, but the Saints are not a very good team. I mean, as I look at the line here on Friday evening, Cleveland is now a 1-point favorite in the Dome, which tells you on a neutral field, Cleveland would be favored by 3 or 4 in this game. So, give me the Browns to win it in New Orleans. Close game, but I like the Browns because their ability to run the football, especially if Cleveland protects the football. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.